gonna let the beast out. Caged up, held down, but far too long. You ready? Be ready. Breathe in, smell the victory. Breathe out, let go of all the doubt you feel. Believe, reject defeat. Don't ever be afraid to be a legend. When it's on the line, seize the moment when the moment's right. Come on, you're in this fight. Don't ever be afraid to be a legend. Stand the test of time. Seize the moment when the moment's right. Come on, believe you're in this fight. Don't ever be afraid to be a legend. Hold up, are you listening? Focus in, we're looking to make history. Let's go, we know.
Hold up. It's party time. Hey, it's Tuesday night, and you guys know what time that is, right? It's time for the PreGame Blitz right here on the Viking Nation Live. And why did I say it that way? Because you guys know by now that it's summertime, and that means that we're doing our combination show. Normally during the season, we have a Tuesday night and a Thursday night show. The Tuesday night show is our regular PreGame Blitz that you're watching now. And our Thursday night show during the regular season is our Viking Nation Around the Nation Live type of deal where we talk all things Lions. But during the off season, when things are a little bit slower, everybody's on vacation, that kind of stuff. A lot of people go back and watch this show on demand after the live version is over with. We kind of slow down a little bit and we combine the two shows for this Tuesday night presentation. So I want to welcome all of you guys watching out there and those that will be watching a little bit later on. First of all, I want to welcome you to the PreGame Blitz. I'm your host, Larry Godwin. Now, normally I have a lot of people that's on the SuperFan panel, but for one reason or another, one of them got a little sick, so he couldn't be here tonight. One of them's on a date night with his wife. I don't quite understand. I'm just kidding. So couldn't be here tonight. Another guy is coaching, I think a 12U All-Star League football team or something like that. So I'm expecting Cole Moore to be my one and only SuperFan panel tonight. So anyway, Cole is running a little bit behind. We expect him any minute now. Until then, it's just me and you. So it gives me a little bit of time to talk about, the week and how that's going. Let's get into the topics for tonight. Guys, I don't know how your week has gotten off to, but it has been a whirlwind. It really has. So I hope you guys enjoyed Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all you dads out there. We appreciate you. No matter if you're part of the Viking Nation. Oh, I just got a message from Cole. He's on his way. Whether you're part of the Viking Nation or, dad land in general, we want to welcome all you guys and say happy Father's Day. I don't know what you did on Father's Day, but we had a get together at our house, our little soiree. I don't know if you guys see this right here, but it's bugging me. It is my earpiece. I don't know if you noticed that, but I actually wear an earpiece so I don't have to wear the great gigantic type of headset over the ears types of things. And sometimes these things want to pop out if I get overly animated and start moving around. So that's why you see this cord poking out of the back of my head every once in a while. No, it's not like a Matrix type of deal where Cole, behave yourself. Cole just popped into the backstage and he's got his Gator Orange on and he's got his Mountain Dew. So man, oh man, he's ready to rock and roll. It looks like he's full of energy and all hyped up. So I'll bring him on in a couple of minutes. So guys, we were hosting this Father's Day get together at our house. And so if you were in the Lowndes County area, you were greeted Saturday morning to a great big thunderstorm that came through the area. Let me go ahead and bring Cole Moore. Cole, did you experience that thunderstorm that came through the area Saturday morning?
Yes.
Man, oh man, it was kind of cool to be awakened by rain because we hadn't had it in a while. But it got kind of violent, man. There was down limbs and some trees knocked over in the neighborhood, that kind of stuff. But more importantly to us, we were having a party later on that day. and it was a nice backyard grilling out pool party type of deal. And now we got all this debris all over the backyard into the pool, and everything's blown over. And so I got out there in that heat afterwards, and man, was it hot. And Cole, it almost got the better of me. It really did.
Yeah, you got to watch out for Yogi and Boo Boo. They get on your back.
They do, man, especially when you get older, like not you yet, but like I am. I'm over 50 years old now, and you got to be careful out there in that heat, man. It got on me in a hurry. I had to go lay down for a while. You know, I stopped sweating. I started getting nauseated, started getting dizzy, and I recognized the symptoms like, I got to get inside right now and get some fluids.
Yeah, man. Like, I think about it, and I just think, I thought about it earlier. I was like, man, how did we do it with those full pads on in this summer heat, man? We had to love this stuff, man.
I feel so bad for those football players out there that they're doing the OTAs, and I'm complaining and almost having a heat stroke just picking up limbs in the backyard.
Yeah, I mean, us big boys, 250, 300 pounds, boy, we sweating before practice even starts.
That's exactly right, man. Hey, we got some pretty cool topics tonight. We're expecting Sam Horne to call in a little bit later on in the show.
Nice.
I was communicating with Sam earlier today. He had tagged me in on a I think it was a Facebook message it was a video about his Wildcats going through some workouts, and he was saying this ain't the regular workout.
Too, man. Pretty good.
What's that now?
Videos.
What's that?
It's a pretty good hype video for the Valdosta Wildcats.
It really is, man. So I'm anxious to talk to Sam because he's super excited about what Wildcat Nation has to offer the rest of the teams this year, man.
Yeah, we're going to find out, is Valdosta ahead of schedule, or are they still just a little bit off? We'll find out very shortly.
I would predict that if you were to ask Sam, if you were to ask the average Valdosta fan, I would think they would say they're ahead of schedule.
Well, I have the pleasure of knowing a bunch of Wildcat fans, and it ain't just Sam, LG. They feel very good about their football team.
They do. Hey, listen, if you're a Lounge fan watching tonight, your Valdosta counterparts, they think they got Lounge's number this year. They really do. Yeah.
All it takes is 1 year.
Absolutely. Especially in high school football, man. You can turn it around in a hurry.
Yeah, about those city and county schools, we know in Thomas County how quickly things can change.
Yeah. It's different when you're in a community that has two programs, isn't it?
It is.
It's a lot different environment.
It's almost like a must-win every year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't. I know Thomas County Central and Thomasville aren't in the same region, but they're still rivals, and it means something. I know Valdosta re-enters the region with Lounge, so it's almost like must-win Super Bowl every year.
Yeah, so there's a big difference. Just about every school has a rivalry out there, right? But there is a big difference. I'm sure you would agree with me about when you compare a regular rivalry to an in-town rivalry.
Yeah, man, it's all about winning the city championship. I mean, that's it's up there. I mean, when you talk about Valdosta Lounge and Thomas County Central, Thomasville, those schools just those two rivalries.
Right.
I mean, they're big rivalries in the state of Georgia. I mean, a lot's at stake. And both sides. You start talking about the city of Thomasville or Valdosta, Lowndes County. They don't like each other.
That's right. That's right.
That's what makes it so fun.
Before we get too much further in the show, let me remind our folks about our sponsors. Guys, we're going to open up the phone lines tonight before we have Sam call in. If you would like to call in tonight, we are Cole. I haven't broke the news to you, but we are minting our call-in /hotline. We're giving it a name. One of our sponsors called me earlier this week. Hey, I'm going to mute your line because I'm getting a lot of feedback.
All right.
So one of our sponsors called me earlier this week and said, listen, man, I want to sponsor your call-in line, the hotline that people call in. If you can just say the name of my business, then I'll up my sponsorship. I said, heck yeah, let's do it. So anyway, guys, if you would like to call in before Sam does a little bit later on, give our White Oak Investment Hotline a call. I need to go ahead and change that on the screen right now. The White Oak Investment Hotline a call, and we will get you in on the show. Let me go ahead. See, this is one of the cool things about doing a live show. You get to make changes like this. White Oak Investment. How about that? Here we go. Check this out. Just like that, Cole, on the fly. White Oak Investment Hotline. Oh, shoot. I put hotline twice. I'm a big dummy.
And that's what can go wrong when doing a live show.
That's what can go wrong when you're doing a live show. The White Oak Investment Hotline at 229-469-1205. If you would like to call in and give us a report on how your team is doing in the 7-on-7s or the OTAs or workout routines or the latest transfer rumors and that kind of stuff. Cole, we've had all kinds of rumors swirling all over the place this summer. Every time a rumor hits, for some reason, people start calling me. My phone lights up like crazy. Sometimes I report them to you guys after I've had a chance to confirm them, or at least kind of feel reasonably comfortable talking about it. And sometimes it's like, there is no stinking way this is true. Trust me, the things that we talk about on the show is a fraction of the stuff, right? It's a fraction of the stuff that
people have no idea what we actually go through, the people that contact us. And now we have to say, okay, do we want to report this? Do we not? So now we have to use our judgment. Now there are rumors out there that just you're like, just let it fly over.
That's right. I heard, if you're a Lounge fan, I heard I had two folks call me yesterday out of the blue, driving back from working yesterday, and said, hey, did you hear this? Did you hear that? I made a couple of phone calls just to check into it. Some say it's true. Some say it's not true. So there's no way I'm reporting that. There's no way. Because I can't get it confirmed. My rule used to be, if I can get it confirmed by one other person, then I'll run with it. But I got burned by that rule a couple times. Then I upped it up to 2. I actually have to confirm it 3 different sources now before I will talk about it live on the show. There's no way. So if 3 sources are wrong, then they're wrong. But until then, anyway. So guys, I don't know why I went down that diatribe, that rabbit hole, other than to say, if you have something to report tonight, if you want to talk about something, if you want me to comment on something, if you want to talk about Cole's ugly apparel, then give us a call on the White Oak Investment Hotline at 229-469-1205. Until then, let's remind our folks about who our sponsors are. Pepsi Bottling Company is our title sponsor. This is the Pregame Blitz presented by Pepsi Bottling Company. They have some great types of flavored drinks: Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Rockstar, Mountain Dew Energy, Mountain Dew Spark. That is a fantastic drink, if I haven't said that before. I think I've said that many, many times. We also want to thank Tim Neesmith. Speaking of Tim Neesmith, at a Shade of Perfection. Cole, I saw, man, Tim is a fantastic guy, but he is not afraid to put himself out there. I saw him share this video of him on a cruise ship sometime in the recent past. And he was doing some type of He-Man pose in front of everybody on this cruise ship. And it's like, you go, Tim Neesmith. But he's a great guy. He owns a company called A Shade of Perfection. If you guys need custom shades and blinds, give our friend Timmy a call at 229-251-3479. We also want to thank these guys, Josh Batson and Justin Haskin at the Migraine and Spine Clinic of Valdosta. Guys, it doesn't matter if you you suffer from a small migraine or a major one. I've never suffered from migraine. I don't even know if there's a major or minor. All I know is if you suffer from migraine, these guys can fix it. They are certified headache medicine specialists, and they can help you out. Okay. So that's the migraine and spine clinic of Valdosta. So I got all kinds of people texting me here. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Luke Bush. I got your message. I will talk about that in a second. Okay. So not a worry, not a problem there. So we want to thank White Oak Investment. They've stepped up their sponsorship level to basically sponsor the call-in hotline, the White Oak Investment hotline at 229-469-1205. We want to thank those guys. So, Cole, I don't know if you're old enough. You've been in the working world long enough. Cole keeps disappearing. You've been in the working world long enough to know the importance of financial planning. You have a young family, you just had a small child born into the world. Guys, if you are concerned about your financial future, then you want to give Kyle Conger a call at White Oak Investment. Okay. Give Kyle a call at White Oak Investment. You see the market go up and down, up and down. I sleep well at night knowing that my financial house is in order. And a big part of that is having a good will, having a good financial plan. And Cole has helped me, not Cole, but Kyle has helped me put together my financial plan. I'm not an investment planner, but Kyle is, and he can help you out at White Oak Investment, 229-850-8848. If you need help with your iPhones or Androids, accessories, small business accounts, give Matthew Godwin a call at Verizon Wireless on Perimeter Road. Freedom with Steve Nichols. This is a new partnership that I have with Steve Nichols and at the Freedom Company. It's not the name of his company. He and I have formally gone into business together, and we've started a new venture called Freedom Networks, and we've brought his show into that umbrella. It's called Freedom with Steve Nichols. That's a Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. every Monday through Friday. It can be viewed on Facebook, YouTube, Discord, and our soon-to-be launched website, and a lot of other platforms that's coming along. But until all that stuff is in place, if you would like to check Steve's show out, Freedom with Steve Nichols, give it a shout on Facebook, Freedom with Steve Nichols. We also want to welcome Commercial Banking Company into our lineup of sponsors that I guess they see a lot of value in the show, because you guys make this show valuable. Not me or not Cole, but you guys, because you're the eyeballs that tune in to watch it. And that's what's important to these sponsorships. So anyway, we want to thank Commercial Banking Company. If you have a need for personal checking accounts, savings accounts, CDs, IRAs, auto loans, mortgage loans, before the rates get too terribly high, give these guys a call at Commercial Banking Company. They can help you out with all your checking and loan needs. So those are our sponsors. More are on the way. If you're an existing sponsor, we do have a way for you to upgrade your sponsorship. So anyway, we welcome all that stuff. Cole, let me get you back on the line, unmute your line there. Man, I've been anxious to play one of these videos that you and I kind of briefly talked about it before. And I'm going to play a couple of clips. Guys, one of the things that I do is it started several months ago. I've got another partner with Prep Gridiron Logistics, a guy named Joe Mamone. He owns this company that sets up these national prominent high school matchups. Mm-hmm. Right. And so he and I started this company called nationalhsfb.com. And it's basically a message board for high school football fans like us on a national basis. So one of the things that we do is just about every week, we interview a different nationally prominent high school head football coach. And this past week, I had the privilege of interviewing former Super Bowl. I don't know if you can ever call a Super Bowl champion quarterback a Super Bowl winning quarterback, now high school head football coach, a guy named Trent Dilfer.
Yeah. So didn't he win a state championship last year?
He did. Lipscomb Academy up in Tennessee. So
go ahead,
the guy knows what he's talking about. The guy knows what he's talking about. And we spent an hour. We're not going to play the entire interview. If you would like to check out that interview, go check out my YouTube channel called PreGame Blitz, and you'll see it. It says Lipscomb Academy head football coach Trent Dilfer. It's an hour-long interview. So don't balk at that hour-long deal because it's an action-packed hour. The guy knows how to work a camera because he spent a lot of years in front of the camera with ESPN.
Yeah.
Right? So the guy knows how to work a camera, and he will get you super, super excited about what he's doing there at Lipscomb. So I'm going to play a couple of clips from that interview pretty soon. Before I do, I want to make sure that if you're a Lowndes fan, I want to make sure that you understand that the ability to renew your season tickets is going on now, and that deadline is quickly approaching. July 13th is the deadline. You might say to yourself, I still got a couple of weeks. Guys, one of those weeks, I think July 8th through, what's that? Yeah, the system is closed June 27th through July 8th. So that's an entire week where you won't have the ability to get your tickets at all because the office is going to be closed. So make sure you don't get caught with your pants down when it comes to renewing season tickets, right? Go ahead and get it done. I posted on the Viking Nation earlier today the new ticket hours, right? With the new administration, it looks like they have new summer hours at the board office there. So make sure you get by. If you're a Viking fan, make sure you get by there in the next few days to go ahead and renew your tickets because July 13th is very, very quickly approaching. All right. So if you guys don't want to know more about those details, make sure you read about the latest post on the Viking Nation on Facebook. All right, Cole, I'm going to go ahead and play this video and then we'll come back and talk about it. Okay.
Programs in the country, but the way you do that's through process, and sometimes this gets such like coach speak, and I don't want to do the coach speak, get better one day at a time. But what you learn through a life of football, I have a 42-year football life. I started at 8, like I said, on the back of a sled. I'm 50 now, is that you don't ever get to what you want unless you know how to get there. And you know how you get there is get better every day. Trying to get kids to buy in to find something every single day to get better at. Sometimes getting better is learning how to deal with 100-degree weather on a Wednesday in June when most of our kids are at the lake, and you gotta muster it up in the morning and get.
My phone just picked up. So, hey, caller, welcome to the, man, I got to remember to say this. Welcome to the White Oak Investment Hotline. Caller, what's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, man? It's Sam.
Hey, Sam. Man, we were listening or watching a video of an interview that I had with Super Bowl winning quarterback Trent Dilfer. He is now a head coach at Lipscomb Academy up in Tennessee. So we were watching that. I'm going to go ahead and take that video down because I've been expecting your call. So we want to go ahead and talk to you. Hey, listen, how cool is that I took Trent Dilfer off the screen so we can have the pleasure of talking to Sam Horne?
I like it. I like it. That mean I'm invested. I'm invested with your podcast.
That's exactly right, man. You are a Valdosta SuperFan. I'm going to get you on screen one night. So we appreciate you calling in. So I've got Cole Moore here with me, and I've been talking a bit to Cole about how excited you appear to be, Sam, with your Valdosta Wildcats in the summer workouts.
Yeah. I think I know you've seen the video I tagged you in.
I did. I saw it. So tell me about the video, Sam. Listen, honestly, it looked like a typical, high speed circuit type of workout. So, but the videos talks about it's a different kind of Valdosta workout. You seem to indicate that what's different about the Valdosta culture that wasn't there the previous year?
I mean, I think it started when Coach Post came.
Okay.
Valdosta had been at a standstill as far as like with the direction of the program. You know, we had coaches coming in, you know, they did the best they can do, but there was no vision.
Gotcha.
So when Coach Post came, he came with a vision, and that's where it started at. Obviously, you know, we had our little minor setback, and then came Coach Felton, who coached up under Coach Post, and also
Sam, hold on. Did you just call that episode with Rush a little setback?
Yeah. It was a little minor setback. Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure you used the right words that you chose to use. Go ahead.
Minor setback. Yeah, it was a minor setback.
I got you. Okay.
But yeah, so we, you know, Coach Felton, he coached for Coach Post. He know how a program's supposed to be ran. Also, you had a guy that's coming from the college ranks, and I ain't talking about just, you know, a low-level college. We're talking about the University of Tennessee. So he know what it takes to build a program. He also know what it takes to get kids where they need to be at. And, I mean, he's done a phenomenal job with the state of the program. The kids have bought in, and I mean, you can look at that video, man, the energy there.
Yeah, there was a lot of energy, that's for sure.
Yeah, and also, I mean, just, you know, man, at the end of the day, I think the kids are happy that they finally got everything is like you know, it's stable. Like, they ain't got to worry about this person going here, this person going there. Like, I think Coach Felton going to be here for a while. So I'm excited about the direction of the program and where we at right now.
Gotcha. Okay. So what's other than the excitement level, what's different? Are the players better? Do you have more players? Are they bigger, faster, stronger? Do they know what they're doing? Tell me a little bit more.
So you got to realize something. With these group of kids that we got coming up, these are the group of kids when they was in middle school. They went undefeated.
Okay.
They got beat. I think they got beat their 8th grade year by Moultrie, but they had been going undefeated throughout high school. So now they're at their point of high school of their high school career where it's their time to shine. So I think it kind of went tooth and nail with Coach Felton coming in. They bought in, and now you got a group of kids that's been talented their whole career, their whole football career. So it's just working hand in hand.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Yep.
So, Cole Moore is in the stream with audio only. That Cole, he's always doing something. So Sam, let me just, you know me. I'm going to ask you some kind of direct questions, right? You and I have a relationship where we can be jovial and we can challenge each other at the same time.
Yeah.
So, you know, now that Valdosta is back in Region 17A, I mean, we've got some tough teams. We've got a 5-team region now. Only 4 can go to the playoffs. You got obviously Colquitt, Lowndes, Camden, Valdosta, Richmond Hill. First of all, now that you see the direction that Valdosta is going in, right? You know, on this date, on June 21st, 2022, I know there's a couple more months of summer practice left. So if you had to predict where Valdosta finishes the season, you know, where do you think they are seated 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the region?
I think so I was just talking to one of my buddies about it, and I honestly think that based off of teams that I seen last year and what they got coming back, I think that Moultrie is going to be good. I've heard little rumblings about Lowndes. I mean, based off of them playing Tifton, you can't really see how good or what they got because of, you know, what Tifton got going on.
That's right.
Camden County, I know they're gonna be in the fold, but I can honestly say that I think Valdosta, if we don't finish first in the region, we will finish second.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you really think that I'm trying to process what you just said. You said that if
Sure.
if Valdosta doesn't finish first, you think the worst is they'll finish second in the region.
Yeah.
Well,
finish
man,
second
you
in the
are
region.
sold. You are sold on the program.
I mean, a lot of these kids, now you got to realize something. A lot of these kids in this area, I mean, I coached a lot of these kids.
Okay.
I done seen these kids play, and I'm just looking at it from talent. Now, yeah, coaching going to come in.
Sure.
Coaching is going to play a big factor, but talent-wise, if we going based off of talent, I mean, Valdosta got a lot of talent.
That's true.
I don't know. I could probably try to get Coach Felton on here so he can go more in depth with it one day. But Valdosta has a lot of talent, so that's why I say, man, like Valdosta's gonna shock a lot of people this year. They're gonna shock a lot of people this year.
Well, listen, if you guys win the region championship this year, you are definitely going to shock a lot of people. I think even if you came in second, you're going to shock a lot of, you know, if you take a look at where the program was just 2 years ago, even last year to now, you're predicting a region title and worst case scenario, a second place.
2 years ago, we made it to the what, semifinals?
That's true.
Yeah. And then last year we went through, I mean, last year was unfortunate. We lost a lot of kids. So, I mean, I think, and then just look at it. Last year, I mean, yeah, Lions beat us 21-0, but that game was really closer than what that's going to say.
Yeah.
We was in a dogfight with Moultrie. Who else? Did we play Tifton last year?
Yeah. Did you play Tiff last year? Yes.
Yeah, we played Tiff. We beat Tiff.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, we beat Tifton.
But that was not a big accomplishment.
Yeah, that's not a big accomplishment. But the point I'm making is that, like, just off of last year, we didn't even have nothing to fight for, and them kids went out and bust they behind.
That's true.
Now they got something to fight for. So now we're gonna see how far they'll be able to go.
That's
with something they're fighting for now.
Yeah. So you know, in order to win a region title, you either have to run the table and win your 4 region games, or you have to, you know, I would think lose no more than 1.
Oh yeah.
Right. So if you had to handicap the region games and you say Valdosta loses to one other Region 1-7A team, what team is most likely to beat Valdosta in your opinion?
If I had to pick a team, if
you had to pick a team that's going to beat Valdosta in the region play this year, which team would it be?
I would be honest with you. I would probably have to go with Moultrie.
Okay.
Yeah, only because Moultrie got a returning starter quarterback.
Right.
They got one of the best running backs in the state. Moultrie team was on last year, so if I had to pick a team, I would say Moultrie.
Gotcha. Okay. You know, a lot of people would agree with you. A lot of people, they've got a returning quarterback. They've got a lot of kids returning from that team they had last year that was pretty talented.
Yeah.
A lot of people would agree with you.
Yeah. If I had to say a school, I would say Moultrie.
If Valdosta doesn't live up to your expectations, what would be the key area that keeps them from achieving that? Is it a quarterback situation or?
I would say quarterback.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, he's a 10th grader. And you know, it's gonna be a lot of pressure on him. So with that being said, I mean, it's tough to play quarterback, man, and with a lot of pressure. I mean, Valdosta gonna run the ball. I do know that. We got the backfield. We got a good offensive line. We're gonna run the ball, but I think it's gonna come down to when we really got to make a play, will he be able to make that play? He's very talented. He's very skillful, but it's different when you playing Friday nights. You getting hit in the mouth for 3 or 4 quarters, and it come down to that last drive. That's the difference. And I mean, you rely on the 10th grader to get that done. So I mean, he got some big shoes he got to fill, but That's why you play the game.
That's right.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's why you play. So,
exactly right. Yeah.
and the good thing I will say, we got him for 3 more years. So, you know, that's the scary part about it. But I think the quarterback position would be the biggest area that I think that is going to come down to that if we win region or not.
Gotcha. Okay. You know, we got a Northside fan that says that he believes Colquitt takes a step back this year. I don't know what he's basing that on, but that's the comment that he just made. So, but it sounds like you're not buying that. You're saying that if there's a team out there that is probably going to be predicted to win the region, it probably would be Colquitt.
My question on him would be, is he basing it off the skill level of the kids, or is he basing it off coaching? Now, if he basing it off coaching, I would say, if he basing it off coaching, I would ask that, like, that would be a good question that, you know, we would need to ask people in the community, like, hey man, how coach so-and-so is? Because honestly, I didn't know about him until Valdosta played him when Valdosta beat them in 2 years ago.
Yeah.
The school that guy came from. So, I mean, based off what I heard he's good. Yeah. And I heard he's better than the last coach they had there. But like I say, man, based off of the kids that Moultrie had last year, right, I don't see them taking a step back. I just don't see that.
Let me ask you your, as an objective opinion as possible about Lowndes when it comes to asking a Wildcat fan this. Okay. So, why don't you give Lowndes a better shot than you appear to give? Because you're picking either Valdosta or Colquitt to win the region, but there's really no mention of Lowndes in there. Lowndes has got a lot of skilled kids returning. You got a great coaching staff in place now. Why don't you give a little bit more love to your Lowndes crosstown rival?
No. The reason why I would, because first off, I don't know who's gonna be Lowndes' quarterback.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay, yeah. So now, if I know who the quarterback gonna be, then yeah, I can say, well, I think Lowndes will do this, that, and the third. But I don't even know who that quarterback gonna be. Second, I know the defense from last year is gonna be a whole lot different than what it was that is gonna be this year, because y'all got Ashley Anders as the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the defense is going to be much, much improved this year.
Yeah. But it's going to take time for those kids to get used to that defense. Whereas you got a team like Valdosta, Coach Felton was there last year, so these kids they got a grasp of his defense. So those are the questions that I would have to get answered before I can just say, yeah, I think Lowndes will do this, that, and the third.
Yeah, your fellow cat, Daryl Britt, says he thinks Valdosta will handle Colquitt County a lot better this year than last year.
I mean, that's how you feel. I can't stop that.
It seems like you two are in alignment there. So listen, Sam, I appreciate you calling into the show tonight, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, good luck to you cats.
Yes, sir.
See you. Hey, there he is, an objective. I guess Sam is probably one of the most objective Valdosta fans that I talk to be honest with you. He and I talk on occasion, privately, and we talk to each other objectively. I will give him some really strong opinions and he will give me some really strong opinions. But what you heard tonight was not a show. That's the way he honestly thinks. So I appreciate he basically calling into the show and being very direct like that, giving his as objective as an opinion as possible. So we got a couple of comments down here. Guys, if you would like to call in to the show on the White Oak Investment Hotline at 229-469-1205. And I appreciate you guys tuning into the show tonight. Again, this is a dual cast show that's normally twice a week, but in the off season, it's once a week on Tuesday nights. And this is the pregame blitz presented by Pepsi Bottling Company of Valdosta. So give us a shout. Here's that hotline again, the White Oak Investment Hotline at 229-469-1205. We appreciate all of our sponsors. Here is the interview that I was presenting a little bit earlier tonight with Coach Trent Dilfer.
Everyday drills. And when you buy in that that's going to help you hoist a gold ball, then, you know, you got better that day with your mentality. We're trying to have kids that play harder than anybody else, that learn more football than anybody else, that then go on game night and play free, have fun doing it, root for each other, support each other, buy into, again, something bigger than themselves. You do that enough times. One of our big sayings here is again and 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 again. And there's times I'll say that for 2 minutes and they'll start nodding their heads and they'll start chanting it, because it is really an again mentality. Like, you have to get up and go do it again. We want guys that are, you know, players that are willing to do that. There's a lot of things we can get into, but yeah, to answer your question, I'm looking forward to this year's schedule. I'll show you a couple more. There's only 2 things in my office that matter. It says do hard things and be uncomfortable. You know, we want people to do hard things and be uncomfortable doing them, because we find that's where you get your best in life. When you try to climb big old mountains that people say you can't get to the top, and then when you get into the top, you can look down all those naysayers and say, guess what? We did the thing that you didn't think we can do, and we did it because we embraced hard things.
So, you know, I told you, Trent Dilfer is great in front of a camera. He really is. You know, just in that little small segment, he unpacks a lot of things. He really does. He really does. One of the things that I really like what he did in the first portion of that segment was he was defining what better looks like, and he touched it. He touched on it. He hit the nail on the head. A lot of coaches will come on shows, not just at the high school level, but you hear this and see this at the college and the NFL level too. And they are notorious about what he, in his words, use coach speak by talking about players have to get better. They have to get better every day, every day. How many times have you heard a coach say that? But he goes on to actually define what that means. And he defines it on a player level. So here's an example of what he was talking about. I had a chance to talk to him privately afterwards, or before the show and after the show. And I asked him, well, what does that mean, coach? He says, well, let me give you an example. So if you got a player that is struggling, you know, to learn his plays, you know, he's got great skills. He's got the ability to go out there and do it. But for some reason, he's dropping balls, whatever. Right. And so his get better plan is the next practice, catch 50% of his balls. The next practice, catch 75% of his balls. Or you might have a player that struggles in the heat. Getting better for that player is to get better at adjusting to the heat, right? So once you start to, and this, it happens this way in life as well. Once you start to break the big goal down into smaller bite-sized chunks, and you get master those bite-sized chunks, and you keep doing that over and over again, all of a sudden you have a complete person and a complete player. And that's what he meant by that. And the best coaches, I think, are very, very good at telling players and showing players what getting better looks like. One of the best managers I've ever had in my professional career, in the business that I'm in now, probably had about 20 years ago. And over the last 20, 25 years, I've had probably 8 to 10 different managers. Honestly, that's a lot of managers, but it's not uncommon in the line of work that I do. But the one of the very best that I had was about 20 years ago. And he took this mentality. I was a young sales rep, didn't quite know what I was doing. I knew he knew that I could talk. He knew I had a little bit of just an ounce of talent, that kind of stuff. But I asked him in one of our coaching sessions, I said, how do I get better? You keep talking about getting better, in front of his customers, things like that. And he didn't give me this grandiose vision statement or anything like that. He started to break it down into bite-sized chunks. So I asked him, so what does that sound like? He says, well, let me give you an example. The next time you're in a customer, I don't want you to do anything else except work on your opening statement. Let's get you comfortable making the very best opening statement that you could possibly make to grab that customer's attention. And all of a sudden the light bulb went off and I knew exactly what he's talking about. Put all the other distractions aside. Don't get better. Don't worry about getting the sales trophy at the end of the year. The next time you're in front of a customer, give that person the very best opening statement that you could possibly make, so you can grab their attention, so they will listen to you. And that's what Coach Dilfer was talking about. So, man, he was really spot on. And Trent Dilfer has one of these ways of giving you these nuggets, these voice bombs, what I call them. And one example was, guys, if you want to get better, do hard things. And I said, well, man, that just sounds like a fortune cookie statement or something like that, or a bumper statement. What do you mean, do hard things? He says exactly what it sounds like. Be willing to do the hard things that others don't want you to do. It doesn't necessarily apply just to football. Trust me, we're approaching July 4th, right? Then shortly after that, there's going to be band camps that take place all over this state, all over this nation. But I promise you, one of the toughest band camps is right here in Lowndes County with the Lowndes High Georgia Bridgemen. They go through a brutal 2-week-long band camp, and they're doing hard things. So when they do hard things in July, it makes what they present on the field in September, October, November that much more special, right? Same thing with football players. If they do the hard things now, it makes the product they put on the field so much better and more polished when the season comes along. He also has this tagline. He says, be uncomfortable. Have you ever tried to put yourself in a position where you purposely made yourself uncomfortable only to get better? Only to get better? I don't know if you have. The reason why he says that is not very many people will actually go out of their way to make themselves uncomfortable. But he says, man, that's actually how you become a champion. That's how you develop a championship player, a championship football team, a championship coaching staff. You've heard it put in different ways. You get outside of your comfort zone. And that's what he meant. Be uncomfortable. I'm just curious. When's the last time you were uncomfortable? When was the last time you put yourself in an uncomfortable situation for the purpose of getting better at something you wanted to be better at? When you're 50 years old and you're an old dog or an older dog like me, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. You've heard of that expression, right? This is what Dilfer was talking about. By placing yourself in an uncomfortable situation, you just force yourself to get better. So anyway, that's Trent Dilfer. There's a couple of other segments that I'll play a little bit later on as we progress. We only have about 10 minutes left in the show. I wanted to get your opinion on something else. I don't know how much value you put in preseason rankings. How much value do you put in preseason rankings? You know, there are some sites out now like Calpreps. They're a nationally known website. They put out their season rankings. Max Preps will come out a little bit later on. So I don't really understand the methodology that some of the national companies use, but Calpreps came out with one, and they had Lowndes ranked all the way down in the preseason ranking, all the way down at 17. And we'll go over those when we have time on next week's show. We'll get into more detail on how they came up with that ranking. But I think they were ranking Mill Creek as the preseason favorite for Class 7A. Valdosta was not Valdosta, but Lowndes was way down there at 17. It's like, how do they know that? Or what are they basing that on? So I haven't had a chance to dive into all the details on what they're basing that on. So we'll talk about that more in depth next week's show. Now, Jimbo up in Warner Robins, I think he is a North Side Warner Robins fans. He says, he makes this comment. He says, he's answering the question that Sam Horne asked a little bit earlier on the show. He says, is it based on coaching? Is it based on players? He says, Coach Rogers has a much better record as a coach than Sean Calhoun. I don't quite understand. Jimbo, I don't quite understand your comment. What do you mean Coach Rogers has a much better record as a coach than do you mean as a head coach at the highest level, or just head coaches in general? That just is this a statistical fact that Coach Rogers has a much better record as a coach than I'm assuming you mean Sean Calhoun, the new Colquitt County head coach? I don't know. I don't keep up with both of their coaching careers. You might be right. I just don't know. So give me an idea of what you're talking about. Now, Elaine Day, I love Elaine Day. Elaine Day is a diehard Viking fan. And she says that if she had to worry about any team, it's Camden. There is a lot of hype and buzz around Camden right now. Do you know why? Because this is Jeff Herron's second year back at the helm of the Camden County Wildcats. And reportedly, he's got close to 300 players that came out for spring practice. And I think they just went up to a wing T camp up at West Georgia, I think. And he took like 12 bus loads, 268 kids to this wing T camp. That's a lot of kids to teach the wing T to. So there's a lot of buzz. There's a lot of energy around the Camden program that's been lacking in the last several years when Bob Spire was there. So is Camden the team, the sleeper that we all need to be on the lookout this year for? So Elaine says, if she had to worry about any team, it's Camden. Now, she also goes on to say that that little bit about that little segment that Sam Horne was on, that this here should be used for Vikings fodder now. Get the Vikings hype. Elaine, I don't think we need to hype up our Lowndes team, honestly. I think Zach Grage and the coaching staff that he's put together, along with the existing coaches that were already in place, I think he's in the midst of building or setting up the program that he wants. I don't think he's there yet, but he's in the midst of doing that. Now, there is a real quarterback battle that's going on at Lowndes between three guys: Tate Sermons, Brooks Best, and Marvis Parrish. I don't know which one's in the lead. I think all three of them are doing really well. It may be a game time decision. We may have to wait till fall camp, or not fall camp, but the fall preseason game before we see if there's any type of separation. We really didn't get to see that separation in the spring game, right? Between the three players. All three of them played pretty well. If you take a look at their stats, all three of them played pretty well in the spring game. So I don't know if any one Lowndes quarterback really separated themselves. So that's to be seen. Now, I'm interested to see. I haven't really talked to my insiders, but I'm interested to hear from them about the 7-on-7s that Lowndes has been engaged in to see if there's been any type of separation. Now, quarterback seems to be the topic on everyone's mind. You heard that interview with Sam Horne, big Valdosta SuperFan, right? I asked him point blank, I said, if there was one thing that keeps Valdosta away from that top spot or the top two spots in the region, what would it be? And he said the quarterback position. There's a question mark. It just seems like in every program, there's a question mark at quarterback. Certainly there's that question mark at Lowndes, Valdosta. I would imagine Camden County. I really don't know what's going on in Richmond Hill because they're so far away and we haven't seen them in the region yet. So I don't know what they have at their quarterback position. All I do know is one thing that supports what Sam says is, quarterback position, especially in high school, is a very, very important position. And the only team that I know of in our region that returns a quarterback with experience is Colquitt County. So that's why I think Sam is basing his opinion on that. I don't put much stock in that because at the high school level, if you got talent, especially the quarterback position, you can roar into that position and hurry. Here's my evidence that I offer to you. Ja'Cory Brown. Do you remember when he came in for an injured quarterback his freshman year? His freshman year, not in the spring, not in the summer, but actually after the season started. And he took the world by storm. And now he's written his legacy in the history books of Lowndes as one, if not the best quarterback that Lowndes has ever had. Now, there's some debate in Lowndes circles about who was a better quarterback, Michael Barrett, Ja'Cory Brown, and Doug Belk, some other ones. So, but Ja'Cory's got to be way up there because of all the things that he accomplished, especially since he had close to 4 years as the starting quarterback there. So I wouldn't necessarily put that big of a stock into Colquitt's returning quarterback, and that's the reason why they're projected to win the region. I think Lowndes has got a lot of talent at the quarterback position that is duking it out. Valdosta the same way. Camden, their quarterback position is not as important because they run the wing T system. Now, don't get me wrong. It is an important position, even in a wing T system, because you got to make some really good decisions, good reads, that kind of stuff. But as far as skill sets from a passing perspective, it's not as important in a wing T system, even though you do throw some out of that system. Kenneth Hurst says, yeah, Kenneth, you're stating the obvious, right? Let me go ahead and take this. Kenneth, you're stating the obvious, right? If your quarterback goes, so does the team. As goes the quarterback, so goes the team. That's the expression. You're spot on. You're exactly right. So it's going to be interesting to see how Region 1-7A shakes out. But it's also going to be interesting to see how some of these other regions and classes shake out as well. Because you got Region 1-6A, where you got some quarterback questions there. In Region 1-6A, the favorite has got to be Lee County, not just because, they've developed that reputation of reloading, but they've got a really good quarterback who is returning in Chris Martin. And the guy has got bigger. He's gotten faster. He's gotten stronger. He's got more accurate. Last year in the Lowndes game and in other games, he was an accurate quarterback, but there was a little bit of zip that was missing from the ball. From what I've heard, from what reports that I'm getting, that zip is there. So Chris Martin is the real deal at quarterback over in Lee County. He was already that, but with another year of experience under his belt, watch out, Region 1-6A. Chris Martin and the Lee County Trojans, they're going to be tough to beat. They really are. And if Cole were on, he'd be arguing for Thomas County Central. I don't think he would argue with me when I say that Lee County is probably the favorite in that region. I think that's the obvious. Now, the big question mark, who is seeds 2, 3, 4? Before the spring game, I would have said that Tift County probably has a good chance of taking at least the 3rd seed. But after that spring game, I don't know. I've heard there's some turmoil up in Tifton. I've confirmed that. That's why I'm talking about it. There's a little bit of turmoil. There's a little bit of concern up in Big Blue Land. Northside Warner Robins, where Jimbo is from, right? There's a lot of excitement around the Northside Warner Robins Eagles returning to their past glory. Can they unseat Lee County? That's to be seen. So if I had to handicap Region 1-6A, I would say probably Lee County. And believe it or not, I think a close second is going to be between Thomas County Central and Northside Warner Robins. I think if Thomas County Central can get their offensive line play where it needs to be to compete at that high level of football, the high class of football in 6A, I think they got a shot. They've got a quarterback that can get them there. They've got wide receivers that can get them there. They've got the skill sets, right? And I think their defense is going to be much improved over last year. But their offensive line play. Because we all know the style of offense that Justin Rogers likes to play. He likes this fast-paced, hurry up, throw it type of spread offense. Well, you got to have some pretty good offensive line play to give that quarterback, Sam Brown, a lot of time, or at least enough time so he can make the quick hitches. He can make the slants. Because I think Thomas County Central is probably going to, if they're going to throw the ball out this year, especially the first half of the season, it's going to have to be the short stuff, just to give their offensive line a chance to catch up and to start gelling as a group. So, but if they can do that, I think they're going to give Northside Warner Robins a run for their money. If they can't, then they could easily find themselves the 4th seed out of that. Jimbo says, he's talking about Colquitt County. Says Sean Calhoun is an awesome coach. Not trying to bash him. I just would rather have Rogers. I could be wrong. Jimbo, there's a lot of Colquitt County fans that would disagree with you and say that you're wrong. They are thrilled to have Sean Calhoun over Justin Rogers. Listen, I think we've talked about Justin Rogers' tenure at Colquitt County enough to say that for whatever reason, half that community just never fell in line. They never fell in love with that coach. And that's when you're a brand new coach, that's half the battle right there. I know you've got to get your team developed, organized, ready to go for the regular season that's coming up pretty quickly. But half the battle of a new head coach is the political side. And what I mean by that is selling the community on your ability as the new head coach. And I just don't think, and it's my only opinion here, I just don't think Justin Rogers ever did that to the satisfaction of a good portion of the Colquitt County fan base. Because remember, the coach that he was following is basically a legend, not basically, but is a legend there now in Rush Probst. That was the coach that he was following. So he really never had a chance to be embraced by that. Now, since Sean Calhoun is not the guy that's following Rush Probst, but he's also a guy that coached for Rush Probst, I think he's got a much better chance of being accepted and celebrated and bought in by that Colquitt County fan base. Zach Grange faces the same challenge here at Lowndes, is to sell the community. I think he's off to a good start. Not quite there yet, but off to a really good start in selling the community on accepting him as the master planner. Basically, the chief Viking. In general terms, the Lowndes fan base is very excited about what they saw on the field during the spring game. If Zach Grange can parlay that into a really, really good regular season run, followed by a great playoff run, then he's basically going to solidify himself in the Lowndes community. But here's what he's following, right? He's following Randy McPherson's run in the last couple of years. Randy had some really, really deep runs, couple of semifinals, state championship run. Then Jamie DuBose came in, first year semifinal appearance, second year, which was his last year, quarterfinal appearance. And so basically that's the watermark for any head coach at Lowndes now, and any program, really a high-class, top-shelf program that puts a premium on their football program. That watershed mark, that low water mark, it's basically quarterfinals or better. So can Zach Grange do that with this new team his first year? You better believe he can. He's got the talent to do it, I think. He's got the coaching staff in place. He's got the facilities to do that. So can he do it? I definitely think he can, but that's to be seen. So I think he's off to a good start. Shelton Felton the same way. Last year was basically a grace period for Shelton Felton because of the mess that he was stepping into. And that I think that's me being generous with the words when I just call that a mess, right? We all know what went on there. So Shelton Felton basically inherits a program, takes over, He was hired as assistant, really didn't have any eyes on being the head coach there at Valdosta, but the situation presented itself. It was what it was. That was the situation they found themselves in. He was named head coach, made the best of it, kept the program together, had the kids super excited, and now he's been named the full-time, or not full, I guess he was the full-time before, but now he's been named the permanent head coach there, right? No more interim tag or anything like that. So he's got the kids fired up, but can he get Valdosta back to where they belong? Because believe me, it doesn't matter if he's a fan favorite now. It doesn't matter if Zach Grage is a fan favorite now, or Jeff Herron, or Sean Calhoun. What matters most to these fan bases is the outcome. So you can have the best pedigree in the world, but if you get bounced in the first round several years in a row, or the second round, then your fan base is going to get upset. So, some of these programs around here, like Valdosta, for example, they get bounced in the quarterfinals several years ago, and they get rid of Alan Rodemaker. that was incredible. That's the intense scrutiny that all these head coaches face. It's the same way in Region 1-6A, same way in Region 1-5A. Coffee County has a new coach over there in Mike Coe. That community is in love with him right now, but he knows, he's been a coach long enough to know that fans are very fickle, and they will turn on a coach in a hurry if they don't live up to whatever expectations are out there on the head coach. So you see that in Mike Coe. Jason Strickland faced that in Ware County. The benchmark was pretty high, super high expectations from the fan base. Last year, they thought that it was their year. So it's going to be interesting to see how Jason Strickland moves forward with the Ware County that doesn't have Thomas Castellanos. But they did have a transfer all-world quarterback that has moved into Ware County. So can they now take this new talent that they've got, parlay it into an even more or even bigger run than they had the year before? Now, Ware County and Coffee County's challenge this year, guys, is going to be their weak region. Outside of Coffee and Ware, it's a pretty weak region. So that means they have to rely on their non-region schedule. Their coaches have had to have the foresight to schedule stronger non-region teams to get their programs prepared for the playoffs. Because quite frankly, their region is pretty weak now after the last reclassification. Other than Ware and Coffee County, the rest of them, they're going to win those games easily. It's no knock on the program. It is what it is. It's no knock. I'm not going out of my way to say these other programs in that region are awful, right? They're just not as good as Coffee or Ware. You guys have been watching this program long enough to know that I'm going to tell you exactly what's on my mind, and I'm going to be truthful with you. That's the truth. In that region, it's Ware, Coffee, and everybody else is just playing for third and fourth and probably be bounced first or second round of the playoffs. Now, when it comes to Region 1-6A, it's not as clear-cut. Lee County and then Northside TCC, maybe Veterans, maybe HOCO takes that fourth spot. I'm not sure there. So it's going to be interesting to see what Maurice Freeman does with the Brooks County Trojans after winning a state championship. Can he repeat? Can he take another deep run into the playoffs? So we're going to find all those answers out to those questions as time goes on. Speaking of time, guys, we're finished with our time for tonight's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Cole Moore, for at least attempting. It looks like Cole had some internet connection problems. So next week's show, we'll dive a little bit deeper into the Calpreps preseason rankings on why they ranked some of these teams the way that they did. And so anyway, we'll talk also next week about how NIL is affecting high school sports and touch on some of the weird rule changes with the GHSA when it comes to transgender athletes, which is going to be an exciting topic. But the GHSA addressed it, so we'll just spend about 2 minutes on that topic. So anyway, thanks, guys, for watching tonight's pregame blitz. I've been your host. Not been your host. I'm your host, Larry Godwin. Y'all have a great week. And as always, go Vikings. Y'all have a great week.